Hello neighbor, Robert Burns coming to you again to give you a fresh update of the most recent planning meeting of the Glen Oaks High School Class of 1981 30-year reunion. We held that most recent planning meeting on Thursday, April the 14th, and I'm going to briefly cover some of the topics that we did cover and let you know where we're at and where we're going. The one thing that everyone agreed upon, I know at the last video that I spoke with you, we talked about potential for lack of a better word, scholarships to the reunion. But and let me just say, we have had a number of classmates that have been very gracious. I'd try to name them all, but I'm afraid I would forget some. I know Larry Hatfield specifically gave an extra $200. Lori Tucker gave an extra, Lori Tucker DeSalle gave an extra $100. I know that Barry Bear began the ball rolling on this with an extra $100. And I think there's myself, and I hope I haven't left anyone out. But I'm afraid that we may have created the false impression that now we're floating in money when, or let me tell you, we are not floating in money. And so it was the unanimous opinion, and as well as some others that I had spoken with by phone prior to having this meeting, that we simply are not going to be able to offer free admittances to the reunion. We're not going to be able to offer discounted admittances to the reunion. It's that simple. It also doesn't open us up to the quagmire of saying, well, now why did that person get to come at no charge and the other one didn't? And I know that has been the sentiment that has been relayed to me by others who were not in the planning meeting. While we briefly did entertain that idea, it simply is not going to work. So the one message we wanted to make sure everyone understands is that there will be no discounted rate to the reunion. There will be no, for lack of a better word, scholarships. Everyone either pays that minimum of $50 or they don't get in. It's that simple. And as I have reiterated before, June the 7th is a key date that we're all waiting on to be able to ascertain whether this is going to be a thumbs up or whether it's going to be a thumbs down. We are going to evaluate the financial statement of the reunion on that very day, June the 7th, and I'll talk in just a moment that our last planning meeting will be on June the 7th, so we're literally going to be able to do it in live time. If we are running a significant deficit, as would be the case if everything were cut off right now, we simply will not have the original reunion as we planned it. In that case, I want to assure everyone who has already remitted funds that on June the 8th, that will be a Wednesday, refunds will go out. For those of you who paid by PayPal, you will have your funds back just like that. For those of you who mailed checks, the refund checks will go out on the mail on Wednesday, June the 8th, and you should certainly have your refund check by Friday, June the 10th. The other thing that we discussed is that in the event that this does become a thumbs down due to lack of funds, and that would be the reason that we would opt to abandon the original plan of having their reunion at Noah Park. All of us are hoping that does not happen, but we're trying to be realist. If that scenario does unfold, we all agreed that we would have a backup plan of merely having a small gathering at some restaurant that very same evening, Saturday, August the 6th. So we will have some kind of reunion. Obviously, we're all hoping that it will be what we had originally planned, but we're going to know whether that will be the case or not on June the 7th. If we do manage to pull off the reunion in its original format at Forest Park, let me emphasize that we are going to have some pretty strict internal controls on this thing. What do I mean by that? Prior to the reunion, I will ask the classmates, if you don't mind, to go ahead and give me the name of any guest, and we're going to have pre-printed, computer-printed name tags, both for the classmate as well as any guest. That way, believe it or not, some people change quite a lot over 30 years. I know I have, retained all of my youth and vitality, but that may not be the case for all of my classmates, and you may find it a little difficult to recognize someone from 30 years later, and this will make that perhaps a little easier in that the name tag will be there, and for the guest it'll say, so-and-so, parentheses, guest of so-and-so. And we plan to have a laptop computer, and I have a battery operated printer that we will have on site to generate name tags for those who do choose to come and to merely pay on the day of the reunion. And let me just say this with regard to that. As everyone knows, the fee for attending the reunion is $50 up to June the 7th. If we get the payment by June the 7th, it is $50. Please understand, if we get your payment after June 7th, it will be $65 provided we get it before July 7th. Okay? If you send me a payment for $50 and it's received after June 7th, I'm going to send you notification that we need another $15. We don't get it, I'm not depositing your check. It's that simple. We are operating on a tight budget and trying to pull this off. I don't know how much stronger I can emphasize that. I mean, it is going to literally take every ounce of strength we've got to pull this thing off. And again, I'm so gracious for each classmate who has been so generous. But we are still facing what is going to be a challenge to get this thing done. So I want everyone to understand that that is a firm deadline. If we do not have the payment by June the 7th, it becomes $65 after June 7th and up to July 7th. After July 7th, it becomes $80, and it would be my guess that no one would pay between July 7th and August 6th, because I don't see the point. Why would you not wait and pay at the day of the door the $80 fee? And it will be $80. We all wanted to make sure. It may seem cruel, it may seem cold-hearted, but if we do not get $80 from you on the day of the reunion, if you have waited and procrastinated that long, you will be turned away. All right, I'm going to pause and let that sink in, because that is the whole way that this thing is going to work. That's why we're using the pre-printed name tags. If you're at, Lloyd Lowry specifically mentioned that if you're at the morning session, you come back to the evening session, make sure you bring your pre-printed name tag. We are going to tightly control this at the door so that no one, says, well, so-and-so managed to slip in free. No, you don't have a name tag. That's a way of knowing you didn't pay or you didn't get it. We're doing that to keep these controls in place. It's going to eliminate the potential that, oh, well, gee, I wonder if so-and-so got in free. We made a mistake, all right? We made a mistake when we opened up that door, and we are closing it. So I think that covers just about everything. Lloyd did mention, Lloyd Lowry, that there may be an alternative if I hope it doesn't come to this, but one cost-cutting move that he has suggested, and I don't know how all these things work. As you can tell, I'm pretty decent with internet web pages and videos and whatnot, but as I understand it, you can download some songs and I guess it's one of these, I don't know, Xbox 360s or something like that, and you can put it on at the microphone or whatnot, and it will randomly play songs that, we have a page on there to rate our favorite songs. What he's referring to there, and I may not have the exact process, I think it's his son who suggested this. It's the younger generation that knows how to do everything now. I guess we never thought we'd be saying the younger generation, but let's face it, we're not getting any younger. That is a cost-cutting mechanism to look at potentially saving the expense of the DJ. And there's no need to even, I'm throwing that out as one possibility, but until we get to June the 7th and know where we stand financially, there's no need to start wondering. I'm doing a lot of what-ifs. That is a scenario that can be there to try to save a little bit of funds, but we're not going to know exactly what we need to do until June the 7th. So let me just say this, that about covers everything that was covered at the planning meeting. And so I'll just relay that our next planning meeting, which will be our next to last planning meeting, is going to be on Tuesday, May the 17th. Tuesday, May the 17th at 6:30. And I'll briefly tell you, it turns out that Daryl had shut the restaurant down the particular day that we had the last planning meeting. He has since sent me an email saying business was slow. He wasn't aware that we were having the planning meeting, and so the restaurant was closed. So we had to improvise and go to Brewbacher's, which was not all that far from Daryl's restaurant. But with not knowing what the situation was, when we needed to plan the next meeting, we all agreed upon the Pastime Junior in Drusilla Shopping Center. It is just a little bit a ways from Drusilla Seafood itself, in that same shopping center, right across from the Brewbachers. There's a little bingo outlet in the middle, and I'll take my camera over that way and we'll get you a little footage of the Pastime Junior, which will be where our next planning meeting will be. And again, that will be May the 17th at 6:30. We're moving it up a half an hour. The last planning meeting will be on Tuesday, June the 7th. And I will have my iPhone with me so that we can know right up to the second how much funds we collected, because as you well know, if someone pays by PayPal, we'll be notified immediately of that payment. On Tuesday, June the 7th, we collectively as a group, and everybody in the class is welcome to come. We will also provide the conference call that we have provided, although few people have availed themselves of it. It will be available for that June the 7th, because that will be the day that things either go thumbs up or they go thumbs down. I will have the spreadsheet as it exists going into that meeting, and we will simply analyze and see where we're at and go from there. So I want to thank everyone who has been so gracious, again giving thanks to the classmates who have so graciously contributed the extra funds to ensure that this reunion happens. We are doing everything we can to ensure it does, but we are not going to proceed past June the 7th if it does not appear financially viable. So with that, this is Robert Burns. I'll encourage you to go ahead and get in those payments. You may either mail in your payment or send by PayPal, and we will next report back to you after the meeting of May 17th. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you at the Glen Oaks High School Class of 1981 30-year reunion on August the 6th. Thank you again.